Hello friends, my name is Bilal Khan, and from now on I will be creating the project videos in Rust programming language because I have covered the tutorials for beginners that you can watch them in my playlist Rust for Beginners. So I have covered all of those concepts that are required for beginners in order to understand and learn Rust, but now in these upcoming videos I will be making the projects so that you can understand that how Rust actually works. Okay, so now let's go to the first project and I will show you to the screen that how this project will work and how the process will work on. So as you can see here that I'm present in this Visual Studio Code, and inside this you can see here that this is the practice directory that I created, and inside the practice directory this is a completed directory in which all the practice or the projects, simple projects that I created. But from in this video what I'm going to do, I will create a new project so that I will be able to understand, make you understand that how this project will work. All right, so you don't need to worry about this thing. So let's create a new project name, cargo new, and then the book. Okay, so let's name it like this way. Okay, books. So now you can see here that this is the cargo name and this is a package name by the name of books. And if I go to the books directory, inside this is the source directory and main.rs file in which I will be writing the code. And this is the cargo toml file in which it will contain all the dependencies and packages that are required for this application to work on. But you don't need to worry about this for now because I'm not going to be installing any kind of dependencies for now. But mainly what I will be doing, I will be dealing with some of the concepts like struct and enum in this lecture so that you can understand that how these things are working in real life. So let's like delete this main function and close this. And now the first thing that I'm going to do is to create a struct. Okay, so inside this struct, let's write struct name is going to be books, and after that the book name, let's write book. It will be fine. Okay, so the book name. Okay, and the book name is going to be string, and after that there is the author name. The author name is also going to be string, and then the book status. Okay, so the status could be like available, could be reserved, could be checked out. So these are some of the statuses that you can write them, but I'm not going to be making it as a string. Instead what I'm going to do, I will use it as an enum. So let's write book status. So this is the enum that I will be creating. First of all, let's go upward here. And if you are not aware of the enum, basically it works with variants that which variant will work. Whether the if I take an example of the book status, then a variant could be available, or if the book is not available, then it could be checked out, or if the book is not checked out, then it could be reserved. So these are some of the conditions or the variants that you can put it inside the enum, and that enum could be used inside this struct, okay, as a data. So let's write enum, and this is book status, and I have covered all of these concepts in my Rust for Beginners course, so make sure to watch them before jumping into these kind of projects. Okay, so now let's write available. This is the first variant. The second variant is checked out. Okay, the third variant is basically the reserved. Okay, so these are the three variants that are relevant to the status of the book. So now what I need to do, I need to call them inside this main function. Or before moving to the main function, let's create another function specifically for this, that is going to be book details. Okay, so inside this book details, what I'm going to do, I will create this kind of logic, and then I will call this book details inside the main function. So first of all, let me just use this struct. So how we can use this? Let details is equal to the struct name, that is book name, and inside this what I'm going to do, I will write the these fields like name, author, status. So let's write name and then author and then status. So now you can see here that these are the fields that I have given, but they don't have any kind of value. Although this is a string value, that is like this should be the value, but here you can see here that the values are not defined. So what I'm going to do, I will define the values as parameters. So let's write the values name like what you can see here, book name, book name is going to be string. Okay, and then the book author is going to be, let's say like this, book author, and then the book status. Okay, and this book status is going to be book status. What that book status is, basically I'm using enum inside a parameter. So this is a string, this is a string, this is a book status, that is basically calling this book status, and this book status is basically the enum that is basically showing the variants, that which variant is available. Okay, so now let's write the values. So book name, comma, and the book author, comma, and then the book status. Okay, so comma, and after that let's put the semicolon here, because details at the end, when it will end, that could be ended with the help of this semicolon. After that, what I'm going to do, I will print the values like this one, like here. First of all, let's write book author, book name. Okay, book name, and then book, what you can see here, book author, and then book status. Okay, so these are the three values. Now let's write details, and that detail will call the name. Okay, this details will call the name, and this detail will call the author, and then the status. So for book name, this is the name, the details, and then book author, and then the details, status. Okay, so now it will be fine. Okay, so the first thing, the next thing that I'm going to do is to format them in a correct way. First of all, I will do it like this, and then call it in a next line, and then call this round bracket in the next line. Now this print statement is looking fine, and as compared to the previous one. So the next step that I'm going to do is to write fn main, and inside this fn main, what I'm going to do, I will call this function that is basically the book details, and let's write the, what you can see here, the the author name, the book name, and then the author name and the status. So the book name, let's say, is Atomic Habits, and that will be converted to string. And after that, the author name is James Clear, okay, to string. And then the book status is going to be let's say book status available. So this is how you can call the enum, okay, a particular enum if you want to. So yeah, from my understanding, I hope it will work fine. So let's check it whether it gives me an error or not. CD, and then books, and then cargo run. Now you can see here, book status cannot be formatted with the default formatter. Okay, I forgot that. Basically, if you are printing this complex data structures, that could be enum, that could be like struct. So these are the complex data structures. It's not just a simple string. Instead, that string is written inside a struct. So it makes the data structure a little bit complex. So in order to deal with this, you have to write colon, and then what you can see here, like this question mark. Okay, so for now it is giving me the error that book status cannot be formatted with the default formatter. The default formatter is basically this one, in which you don't write any kind of thing, but if you want to make it like out of this default formatter, you have to write like colon and question mark. And here is another point also, that in order to make this colon and question mark running, what you need to do, you need to like write a trait that is derive debug. So this derive debug is a trait that will basically help you to deal with this kind of complex data structure, so that you can print the status easily. So let's write cargo run. Now you can see here that this is the book name, this is the book author, and this is the book status. Okay, so this is successfully printing in front of me. And yeah, this is how it will work, in which first of all I define the struct and then I call the enum, and that enum is called inside this struct, and after that I used a function, and that function is basically what you can say here, it is using this struct and printing the data, and there are values given into it as parameters, and those values are called here inside the main function. Okay, so this is how it will work. So now let's say if I have multiple book names or multiple authors, so in that case how it will work. So basically this will be kept as it is, but I need to change the parameter from string to arrays, because in arrays there could be multiple values. So what I need to do, I will write, let's say, you can write the vector also, but I'm not going to do this. But first of all I will use the array, because here in the array I will define a fixed fixed length of the data, that how much data that I want, right? So now let's write string, that is the data type, and then let's say 3. These are the 3 books that I will be writing into it. So let's copy this, and then let's write this also. Okay, so 3 author name, 3 book names. After that, the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to write the for loop. So for I in 0 dot dot 3. Now what it will do, it will go through the loop from 0 to 3 and print all the book names. Okay, so now let's put this details inside this for loop, and after that let's write book name and brackets I. So it will iterate through all the book names and authors, and after that it will iterate through the author, and after that it will iterate through all the statuses, whether the status is available, checked out, or reserved. Okay, now the next thing that I'm going to do is to copy this print statement and write the print statement here. Okay, so now it will work fine. The next step that I'm going to do, I'm going to write like this struct with multiple book names and multiple author names. So let's write what you can see here, let book names is equal to book. So first of all let's I need to write like this. Okay, string and then 3. Now it will be present in an array. So in order to use this array, I will write, so this is not a struct, this is an array. All right, so this is the book name. The book name, first book name is going to be, let's say, Atomic Habits, and then it will be converted into string as I have shown you. So if you are not aware of the string, please make sure to watch my previous videos, because I have cleared this string concept in detail. So, and the next book that I'm going to be covering is basically, let's say, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay, and the next thing is basically, the next book is Think and Grow Rich. Okay, Think and Grow Rich, and that is going to be string also, because previously it was string literal, means it was fixed, but now it is converted into string. Now the next step that I'm going to do is to repeat the same step, but this time it will be the author name, not the book name. So let's write author name, and that author name is going to be string with 3 length, with length 3. Okay, and after that I have forgotten one thing, that I need to write the semicolon here at the end of the book name. Now let's write the author name. The author name is, first name is James Clear, to string. The next step is to what you can see here, Robert Kiyosaki. Okay, the next step is to write like Napoleon Hill. Okay, to string. Now these are the 3 book authors. Now the status could be changed, but I'm not going to change this, although I can define the status also here, like book status and that status is going to be book status available. Okay, I have written it inside a variable, but you can directly write it like this. Just I have written like this. So now let's remove them. Okay, and after removing it, what I need to do, I need to first of all write book name. This will call all the books, and after that the author name, and then the book status. Okay, so from this point I hope you understood that what I was doing, basically I wrote the book names, the author names, and the book status, and after that I use them in order to print them and go through the loop one by one. But now let's take a look at whether it gives me an error or not. So now you can see here that it gives me an error. The first error is that I need to put the semicolon in the 40th line. So here I have forgotten. Okay, now the next thing is basically cannot index into type of book status. Okay, so the book status is not like a struct in which I will be going through it. You can see here that the book status is not going through a loop. It is not an array, instead it is an enum. So that's the reason it will not go through the loop. Okay, now here is a problem here that I was hoping that it will occur, but and it occurred. So now I will show you the concept that why it is giving me an error. If I go through this, you can see here that cannot move out of here. Move occurs because book name has type string, which does not implement the copy trait. So basically it is giving me the suggestion also that you need to put the clone here in order to make it work. So what does it mean? So let's go to this from the beginning. You can see here that Rust prefers the ownership principle strictly. You need to be aware of this. I have talked about this in my previous video. So if you are not aware of, then make sure to check that video also, relevant to ownership, in my Rust for Beginners playlist. Now let's take a look at this. So basically you can see here that this is the book name. That is a variable, and inside this variable there are three arrays or three values that are present in it. Now this book name is basically the owner of it. Okay, and this author name is basically the owner of these values. And if I call them, if I use them like inside the book details function, now this ownership will be transferred to this book details. Okay, so now the book name and book author name will not be any honor anymore. Okay, so this book name and author name will not be honor anymore, because the ownership are transferred inside this function name. Okay, so now inside this function, if I go through this, you can see here that these are the variables that will basically be the new honor. And after that, if I go through the if they are used here inside this what you can see here inside this struct, now I need to what you can see here, clone this in order to make it work. Okay, so you can see here that basically these were the honors. The honor this data is moved to this book details, and after that they are used here. Okay, so this data is used here, and in order to make it work, because I need to make it a clone of it, so that there this should have a separate copy and this should have a separate copy. Okay, so now this data does not have a separate copy because the data is moved from here to here. Okay, and now the data is present here. So now this should be cloned, the data should be cloned here, so that this should be having a separate copy. Okay, in order to if I clone this, it will it will create a separate copy, so that this will be a new honor and this will be a new honor. So in this case there will be two honors of the data, in which the first one will be this honor, the second one will be this honor, and this data can be used and printed here, and this data can also be used and printed here. Okay, so this is why it is asking me that they cannot move out of here. Move occurs because the book name has type string, which does not implement the copy trait. Why? Because it should implement the copy trait in order to create a new honor, and in order to create a new honor you have to clone the data, so that this will be having an ownership of the data, and this will also be an ownership of the data, so that both of them are separated. So I hope you understood. Now what I need to do, I need to write clone. So this will be a copy of the data, or what you can see here, a new honor of the data. This name is going to be having a new honor of this data, and this is also going to be having an ownership, and this status will basically not clone the data. Even if I write the clone here, it will not move the data. Instead, it will just create a copy of it. Okay, so the ownership will not be transferred here. Instead, it will just create a copy of it, so that that copy you can be used here, and that copy can be used here in the status also. So from this point, I hope you understood. So the clones is required in order to make a clone, in order to make a copy, separate copy, so that the ownership is not changed, because there could be only one owner at a time, either this one or this one. Okay, so if both of them are having the same owner, then it will give me the error that, hey, you need to clone this data in order to create a separate copy of this owner. So now this is having one owner, and this is also having one owner. And even if I print the data here like this, like here, let me just write in front of you. Yeah, let me just write like book name, you can see here, book name, and yeah, this could be fine. Book name 0. Now this will print the data in front of me, because this is not like losing the ownership. Okay, so yeah, this clone was required, and in order to make this clone working, just like we have did in the colon question mark, I have to put the trait also, that is also a clone. Okay, so inside this derived debug, I also have to write the clone trait in order to make this clone work, because it is dealing with the complex data structures. Because if you are not writing a struct, you are just writing a simple variable, then you don't need to write this kind of traits. But in order to make it work in a complex data structures like struct, then you have to write this what you can say here, trait, in order to make this clone work. So yeah, let's clear this. Let's run this command again. Now you can see here that it is printing the data. Okay, so yeah, this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. Okay, although it should print the like, yeah, if I print like this, okay, it should work. The book name should also work, because it is also having a separate copy. Yeah, you can see here that this is printed here, because this Atomic Habits, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and all of these books are having the separate copy. But let's say if these things were not inserted, then there will be there will be two what you can say here, one data but multiple owners. Okay, so this was also be an honor, and this was also going to be an honor. So that could be giving us a problem, and that's why I have cloned this, so that this is separated and this is separated, and I can use this struct here also without any problem. So yeah, this is successfully working. As you can see here, this is the data of the, what you can see here, separate ownership, and this is the data of here this book details, and they are printed separately, and you can use them. So yeah, this is all about the book functionality, and how you can work with this struct and enum inside the functions, and how you can use the ownership principle here in order to separate the data from each other. And yeah, I called them inside the main function, and this is the result of them. So I hope you understood from this video now on that how the struct and enums and the ownership principle works. So I hope you like this. So if you liked it, then make sure to subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions, and ask those questions in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer all of them. So till then, goodbye.